it would probably be his calming influence for such a young age to be able to do that in a team which is, especially the back four, is pretty experienced. And I think we all see when Jarrad's not there that he's a huge loss. And I think for someone so young to have an impact on the team like that already bodes so well for him in the future. I think he's a little bit of a comfort blanket for some of the players, because Mykolenko seems to play better when Jarrad Branthwaite's next to him. James Tarkowski has had arguably his best games for Everton when Jarrad's there. He's quick, he's strong, he's good in the air, he's good in 1v1 defending. It ticks a box in every probably category that you are looking. If I was watching it for a centre-back and I'm looking for all the areas that I want to see a centre-half do, Jarrad Branthwaite ticks all of them.
Yeah. Well, he definitely ticks David Moyes' box, and we can hear from David Moyes now and what he has to say ahead of this game.
What satisfaction did you take after Saturday from reaching that 40-point mark?
Quite a lot of satisfaction, because it's something which it's probably we've got there with 10 games to go, which isn't a bad situation to be in. But I've always been looking beyond 40 points. Hopefully it would be beyond that. But there's always something in the back of your mind saying, look, the recent history here has never been much better than trying to reach that points total. I've tried not to talk about it, tried to talk about being better, and hopefully us doing more than that, and hopefully we can do.
Can we talk about Europe again? Because 8th place you're in at the moment, it looks like it could get a Conference League place this season.
I probably don't want to talk about Europe again, because every time I come in here when we're getting a half-decent position, it's not gone that way. So, but what I will say is, getting back-to-back wins would be hugely important for us. We've got Burnley to come up in the game next, and it'll be a tough game, but we're looking forward to seeing if we can do it. We're testing ourselves. The one thing we've got players who are full of desire and commitment and resilience when they need it as well. And sometimes we'll lack that bit of quality and maybe can't get over the line in some occasions, but all the other things you would hope for, they've got it in abundance.
Our words there from David Moyes. Now joining us in the studio, before we get back to tonight's game, two very special guests from Everton Women. It is Yuka Momiki and Tony Payne. Welcome to both of you. How are you feeling about being here? I mean, first of all, we have to congratulate Yuka, because Player of the Month nominee. How are you feeling about that?
To be honest, I was surprised to be nominated.
You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be.
But February was a tough month for everyone, but thanks to the incredible teammates, staff and fans.
And for Tony, I mean, back from an injury, how does it feel being back? You ready for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I definitely felt good to, I was watching from the outside, but to see the team doing so well, and now that I will be rejoining the team, it just, makes me feel happier that I'll be joining at a good moment.
Yeah, 3 WSL wins on the bounce, 2 of those coming from your new manager, who you know quite well, Alan.
I do know Scott, yeah. I was, Scott, when I was the under-21 manager, Scott was one of the young coaches then. So I was going to ask you how Scott settled in.
He's really good.
Yeah?
Yeah, we like him.
Different voice?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think he settled in really well with the team.
I think it's really important, because obviously when your new manager comes in, he wants to get his style over quite quickly. But the fact that you've had some really positive results since he comes in, I think he'll be very grateful for you from that point of view, the fact that anything that he can do better.
This is mentor speaking.
Yeah, I am, yeah. I can pass it on to him, you see.
I guess in my opinion, I would say no, because I mean, he's done very well. I mean, we've got 3 wins. I mean, he's definitely coming into a new environment with, the women's game, but I think he's handled it really well, and we definitely all feel really great in the club right now, and we're motivated and we're happy, so.
And talking of settling into a new environment, you've come over to the league for the first time. How's it felt settling into, the Everton family? Obviously, you've got a few, let's say, Japanese family, because there's a big contingent of Japanese players for Everton Women.
Yeah, it's easier to stay with Japanese ones, but once I got here, like I like the sentence from the Alan Ball. Once Everton has touched you, nothing will be the same. And my life has been changed. So I don't know, my love for football and also for the club has been incredible this season.
We're here, you can see the occasion of tonight, but you've both played at this stadium. What was that like for you, Tony, to be a part of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's an awesome stadium. It's beautiful. It's huge. I mean, the crowd is amazing, and it just adds an extra boost for us just to feel completely professional. As women, and we're still growing, so it's really nice to play here. Hopefully, we can play more games here.
You've both been a big part of the growth of women's football. You both played in big competitions. AFCON winner, of course. What's it been like to settle into a new stadium of Goodison Park as well, and have the club support you in that way of being able to play here, being able to play at Goodison Park? Yeah,
Goodison has been a really big change for us. Obviously, we were at Walton Hall, and that's a whole nother environment. It's really intimate, so you can really feel the fans and the crowd. But playing at Goodison, we know there's so much history there, and to be able to play in that stadium it's amazing. So we're loving it.
Do you find a bit more pressure on yourselves now that you've moved to a big stadium, where obviously the men's team have played there for a number of years, and suddenly it's a different environment where you're playing compared to where you've been at Walton Hall?
Yeah, I think there is a little bit of pressure there, but I wouldn't say it's negative. I think it's really positive. It kind of, gives us an extra boost, gives us, more to play for, I think. So it's good.
And for both of you, excited about the game tonight? I was going to say about you being an AFCON winner, but we've got two other AFCON winners here on the pitch. What do you make of Njai and Ghana Gray? Yeah,
I mean, them winning the tournament, they know how it feels and how difficult it is to win the AFCON. They're a huge part of this team. You can tell every time they get the ball, they do some sort of magic, and they're really exciting players to watch. So.
Yuka, for you, like I said, a very big month, great goal that we saw from you recently. What are you hoping to achieve over the next few games?
Obviously we want to finish really strong, but at the same time, we are now, we can aim top 6 still. So, hopefully we will finish the top 6.
Because that's the thing with the WSL, not as many games, so it means that just a few wins just changes your whole season, doesn't it? Tony, coming back at this moment, what does that mean for you in terms of what you can do to push this team along even further now?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be joining the team again, and I think just excited to kind of try and finish the season strong and on a high and really reflect what it means to be an Everton player. I think that's what we all really want to demonstrate now.
And in terms of the team, what are we hoping to see more of? The fans watching at home who can come along to Goodison, what can we give them to expect?
Hard work, commitment to win, and also to be Everton player. I think women's game, after the game, we always come to see the fans after the game at the stadium, and like I said, commitment and hard work on and off the pitch.
And that's something that we see across the whole club, isn't it? And which is quite nice about having Scott manage Everton Women now, because it feels like that same ethos is going through every level of the club.
Yeah, I think with Scott coming in to manage the women's team, I think it's probably helped with the transition of it, rather than waiting for a new manager to come in. I think the fact that they've managed to appoint someone so quickly, it's probably created a little bit of calm so the players can get to work with Scott really quickly. I'm sure Scott's got some different ideas to the previous manager. That doesn't happen very quickly at times. It does take maybe a number of weeks. I think it's impressive the fact that the women have got the results they have in such a short space of time that Scott's had to work with you. And I think the more that Scott can get to know the women, the more that the women can get to know Scott, then that creates an even better bond between yourselves. And I think one of the biggest things with everything is that players want to be able to trust the manager wants to be able to trust the players, and that doesn't happen over a couple of weeks. It happens over months, hopefully years, whereas we can grow, because I think we're seeing football from all aspects of the football club grow. I think we're seeing the ladies grow. We're seeing the men grow this season, and obviously I think the owners, which is the most important thing, have really bought into really progressing the women's game.
Yeah.
You know, and I think this season was all about, I think, the men in terms of finance.
And stability of the whole club.
And I think over the next season and the season after that, I think then you will start to see that investment start to feed into the women's team as well. And I think that only bodes well.
Hopefully some trophies and, you know.
No pressure.
No pressure. Well, thank you both for joining. And a reminder to you at home as well, to get yourself down to Goodison Park. You can get tickets online. And one player who knows a thing or two about Goodison Park, I'm sure he was hoping to play there, is Harrison Armstrong. And we can hear it from him now.
It's any local lad's young dream is to be playing in the first team. And I think now that I'm here, looking at it, it's a bit surreal, but no, I'm just trying to cherish every moment, make the most of it, and yeah, it's been good.
Talk about surreal, we're here in the family room, and this is very familiar for you. Your parents came for training nights when you were a kid?
Yeah, they've been there every step along the way. I've been fortunate enough to have a really close and supportive family who, yeah, they've supported me and made sure that my best interests are being put before theirs at times. They've sacrificed a lot, and ultimately they've got me to where I am today.
An Evertonian by birth? What does it mean to have your picture on the wall here in the family room? You see it over there. That must be a real thrill, and clearly you are an inspiration to the next generation coming through.
Yeah, like I said, it feels not long ago when I was in the shoes coming into here and looking at other players on the wall. Yeah, I'm just trying to be the best version of myself, and hopefully I can be a role model to some of the young players coming through.
Who were your role models as Everton players? Who did you look up to?
Yeah, well, I think as a young player you look to who scored all the goals. I think my time was Lukaku when he was coming up. Obviously Leighton as well, he was my under-18 coach, and I'm working with him now in the first team. It was a bit weird sort of watching him every week and then being able to work with him. But yeah, I've had plenty of players who have took part of the game and aspired to sort of put that into mine.
You're being asked, I suppose, to play a little bit out of position on one of the wings at the moment. So how tough is that, given that you're essentially a central midfield?
I think that, like I said, it's just part of the sport. I think if you're not able to adapt and overcome challenges, you're not in the right game. It's always going to be tough, whether I'm in the midfield or I'm playing out wide. But I'm just fortunate for my opportunities. There's not many teenagers who are playing in the Premier League consistently, and I'm just trying to cherish that.
Harrison Armstrong there. Nice to hear from him, isn't
Yeah.
it? What do you make of just his growth and this incredible breakthrough into the team, really?
I think first of all, I think he speaks very well for a young lad as well. His breakthrough into the first team, I think, has been really impressive, but I'm not surprised. I think we've seen glimpses of him pre-season before he went to Preston, and I do think Preston was a really good move for him in terms of his development. But I think when he's come back in January, I think it was right for the football club. But most importantly, I think it was right for Harrison Armstrong, because we had a few gaps in terms of a couple of players away at AFCON. We'd had a few suspensions and we had a few injuries. And I think he's come into the team. I think he's really put his stamp on what Harrison Armstrong is about. Anything Harrison Armstrong does at this moment in time is an absolute bonus, because I think in the future, and I don't really want to put too much pressure on him, but he's got the potential to be a real star. You know, is just his maturity on the pitch. I think his decision making is very good on the pitch, and the fact that David Moyes has played him out of position and it's not phased him speaks volumes for his mentality.
Well, talking about that pressure, I mean, being a boyhood blue as well, how much does that play into it in terms of, I mean, your emotional connection? Surely that plays a bit of a part.
I think the thing for Harrison and any young player is that they wouldn't think about that. They have no nerves. At 19 years old, you just want to play football. And I think that's why you see some of his performances where he doesn't look phased, he's not nervous. It's only when you get into your 30s where you start to overthink things and you start to worry about things that you're not under control of. At this moment in time, I think he's doing brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, from where he's come from, I think next season and the season ahead, he's got a very, very bright future.
You spoke about how he came in at a time where there was lots of space for him to come in.
Yeah.
But there's also a benefit in coming in when there's, you know, a squad to depend on, so the pressure isn't just on you.
Yeah.
Do you think that balance has worked out quite nicely, that he's experiencing both?
Yeah, I do. And also I think he's experiencing the day-to-day training with high-level players. So he, first of all, when he goes out, so maybe, and no disrespect to Preston, because it was great for him, the level of players there is nowhere near the level of players in the first team. And to do that day in and day out, he'll be picking up little things all the time, whether it's the attitude of certain players, and he'll be thinking, oh, wow, isn't his attitude fantastic? Or the edge of an Iliman Ndiaye when he's going into tackles and he's not pulling out. So all these little things are great for him to witness and on a daily basis. And it's only going to help him as an individual, because I think Harrison Armstrong, he will still be looking to find little ways to make himself even better. Even though he's doing great at the moment, I think the more that he can keep Jack Grealish, perfect example, and the way he looks a very sensible lad. He looks like he lives his life right off the pitch. He comes across that way anyway. And I think if he can keep his feet on the floor, which he's got some brilliant people there, not just players but backroom staff, to do that. Honestly, I can see him being a potential star for Everton. I really can. I'm excited about him. I think you can tell. I'm very excited for him, because I'm looking forward to seeing how he develops and becomes a real number 8, because I think that's where he is. I think he's a number 8 for Everton.
You mentioned stars of Everton. We have to talk about Jordan Pickford ahead of this game, because we wouldn't have got that win if it wasn't for him last game. Let's just first of all talk about that particular save. How good of a save is it?
We were speaking just off air before, and the fact that I'm not surprised about it, I think tells you how good Jordan Pickford is. We could sit here for the next hour and do a show on Jordan Pickford, and it probably wouldn't do him any disservice. There's so many superlatives that you could say about Jordan Pickford. His Everton career has been nothing short of outstanding. It really has. And he's the fact that, you know, and I think he could have easily left Everton. I think there'd be a number of clubs who would take him, and he's really bought into the Everton way, the club, the ethos of it. His family really settled, and I think we're so lucky and privileged that we've got England's number 1.
And that passion that he showed there at the end of the game, I mean, it kind of summarises what we've been like away from home. We've just really put bodies on the line, and we've gotten some incredible wins, which is now, while we're in this position, fighting for European places. I feel like I ask you it every time that you're on the show, but how do we convert that to being here at home?
I think obviously going away from home suits us, because the onus is not on us to take the game to the opposition, whereas when you're at home, you're in front of all your home fans, and there's an expectation for you to get on the ball and open teams up and being brutally honest, I don't think that's this team just yet. I think that's where we want to be, but I think in terms of going away from home, being hard to beat, then hitting teams on counter, that's why Everton have got so many good results this season. Since David Moyes has come in, we're second in the away form to Arsenal. You just got to take a moment to think about that, how impressive that is. Our away form is incredible, but if we can just start to have a little bit more consistency at home, then I honestly can see me dusting the passport down and we could potentially sneak in a European place.
Even just that we're talking about European places, and almost like we kind of expect it. We're hoping for that. We're not just saying, oh, maybe if we get it, it would be nice. We were sort of maybe saying that at the beginning of the season, but now it's a real possibility and people are expecting it. But that in itself shows where we've come from. Well,
it does.
Got to as a club.
It does matter, but also it brings with it pressure as well.
Yeah.
And I think now Everton have put themselves into a position that we've not seen, I think, for in the last 5 years. We are only just entered March and we're safe. You know, we've not been able to encounter that situation for a number of years now because of obviously, and I think that is just another reflection of how much the club is going forward. I think David Moyes has done a brilliant job. I think the players deserve a lot of credit for that as well. But now they're into the final bit, that if they can just improve their home form and get results, I can see us potentially sneaking in the back door of Europe.
I mean, tonight is a chance to do it, isn't it? Burnley have shown some real, fight in terms of getting back. That win against Crystal Palace, that almost draw / win against Brentford, but being able to score quite a lot of goals. How do we approach this game today?
I think really take the game to them from the first whistle, really put them under pressure, get the fans in there, get the noise going in the stadium. And we've all seen that Burnley have been on the back of a couple of heavy defeats. If Everton really put Burnley under pressure tonight, get an early goal, settle everyone down and really go for it, I think Everton could win by 2 or 3 goals tonight. I hope so. And then it gives you another platform to really build again.
Amazing. Okay, well, we can hear the noise from outside and we're getting ready to start. So we can hand you over now to your commentary team.
Hi Paul, all right lads, you okay?
Because it's all you assistant here. Just below you guys. Same old faces there.
Good evening everybody, welcome to Hill Dickinson Stadium. Everton against Burnley. It's a massive, massive game for Everton Football Club. Our away form has been